Days ago, I had talked about Table Troopers VR. I compared it very much to what I thought was going to be Worms Armageddon, a tabletop type game where you have multiple players and each character has a set amount of time to do his business, whether that's moving, getting out of dodge, or firing weapons and trying to take out the rest. And having spent a bunch of time in this game, already I can tell you that you should get this game. It's worth it. It's fun. But I do have a ton of recommendations and suggestions for the developers, ways that they could make this better, and we're going to talk about it. Need this fantasy. Alright, to break it down and to go over just the basics of the game, you can play this either VR or mixed reality, and you sit around this table. And as of the creation of this video, and when I played last, they only let you have 3 people around that table at a time, which was kind of a bummer. But once you're there, you have multiple characters to your name, they have their characters, and they're placed randomly around the map. And the maps, they have a ton of options. I gotta say, the weapons are pretty on point as well. There are presets that you can play with to where they just unlock the entire arsenal and it's at your fingertips.
Don't do it. Whoa, look at all the weapons. Oh, mama.
Whereas you can play other modes to where everything is limited and you rely on a certain set of skills to win the game. You can adjust the timer. How quickly does sudden death kick in? And sudden death, like Worms, at some point when a time limit is achieved, then the water level starts to rise. And if you're standing on some lower elevation, then you sink and you're out. But anyway, I'm saying that it's very much like Worms. That's the inspiration. And the comparisons between the two, I'm going to list those just to kind of point out where the similarities are and where they abruptly fall off. So it's a turn-based game. You have, depending on the settings that you implement, a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or unlimited if you choose to move your character. Now, unlike Worms, there is no option as of the posting of this video to cycle through your characters and pick the one that you want. Now, in Worms, when you picked your character, you'd have a set number of seconds to get to higher elevation, put up a girder, fire a weapon, and because of that time limitation, if you weren't using a ninja rope or a jetpack, you had to spend your time wisely as you kind of hopped and crawled and made your way across the map. And in this, they limit you in a different way. When you go to, there is no walking, there is no crawling around or hiking up the terrain. If you want to move, you have to physically grab your character and lift him, hoist him, and put him somewhere else on the map. But when you do, there is a sphere, an orb that kind of grows around you. It's green, and that is the limit at which you can move. So if you want to take him out and put him up at a higher elevation for a sniper's nest, you can't because it's outside of that sphere of influence. When you got your sights on the character that you want to take out, you would cycle through the various weapons that you have at your disposal. And for my money, I want to go with that full arsenal so that we all have just tons of stuff that we can play with. And so if you opt to use a rocket launcher to take out a character, then you pinch it and pull back. It's a system that works. There is a guiding line, the arcs, and that accurately represents the line that projectile will traverse based on the wind, which you know if there's wind because up in the middle of the map there's an arrow pointing a certain way that signals the intensity of the wind. And so that's useful. That guiding line that the projectile follows fades off at some point. It only reaches so far, and at that point that it disappears, it's just up to you. It's just you have to do your best to aim properly and take into account the wind and other elements.
Now, Dan. Oh, you're perfect. Right there, don't move. All right, you got this, Dan. Oh, sorry. Oh, you missed it completely.
And beyond that, it is fun trying to get that right and watching people fail. And in that regard, it's perfectly suited to VR. It is not like Worms, but I appreciate it. Now, as for the destruction that I was so very much looking forward to when I had talked about this prior, I can confirm that the structures do pleasantly crumble to the ground, and even the terrain can be damaged. You can leave craters by dropping nukes. And so, again, just like in Worms, if you want to send someone to Davy Jones's locker, then you can. You could just blow enough holes in the ground and they'll fall through and they're gone. In terms of arsenal, there are other similarities between this and Worms, such as gifts that fall from the sky, boxes that you can collect that often have extra weapons in them, and sometimes they're booby-trapped with mines, which I don't think that reminds me of Worms. I think that reminds me of like a box that you drop for some unsuspecting soul in Mario Kart, probably. And of course, throughout the map, there are barrels of toxic waste and other such nonsense that if you blow up, it leaves this haze that will poison your opponents. There is no ninja rope. There is no flying sheep. There are no guided missiles that you can traverse and move through the air as they make their way to the target that you want. But otherwise, they did a very good job of highlighting the stronger points of a game like Worms Armageddon. And I'm very happy to have it here in VR.
Yeah, it's a little rough, but there's a lot of promise here. I really like this. This translates really well to VR. The whole Worms mechanic feels good.
But now that I've laid out the similarities and a few key differences, I want to talk about this game specifically, how it benefits from VR and what changes really need to be made to take this from a really cool game that I can recommend, like fully. I really like this game. Play it with the right people, you're going to have a blast. But play it with the wrong people, and you're going to have just a hell of a time. So to begin, this circular table that you sit around with 2 other people, 3 in total, which already that number's not big enough. I mean, I understand the size of this table, just in terms of the bodies that you can put around it, it is limiting in some sense, but this game needs to have 4 to 5 players. It really should. 3 players does not feel like enough. You can grip the underside of the table and turn the table, and when you turn it, it turns it for everyone else. Everything you do on this map affects other players, but you are only able to turn the table when it's your turn, so it's not a big deal. If someone is preparing to fire a rocket launcher at you, and he's taking his time and he's down there real close doing his thing, trying to make sure that he gets it just right, I can step up to him and put my hand and block his line of sight, which is wild. You should not be able to do that. Granted, you can see through the hand. Like, if it's my turn and someone puts their hand in front of me and tries to blind me, which they can do, I mean, there's no stopping it. There is an outline of the other players, so I'm not completely in the dark, but it is immensely distracting, and it has to stop. If you're playing with trolls who just want to ruin your day, they'll ruin your day in a heartbeat. The game will not be any fun if there are people doing that kind of stuff all day long. And so there needs to be a method to kind of cut that out. Additionally, as it relates to other players, there is an issue with the microphone that we had. Every one of us, we play VR and we know what a microphone should sound like, but all of us were complaining to each other that our mics were blowing out and crackling to the point where it hurt your ears. And so I'm hopeful that that will get fixed.
No mercy at all.
Getting some hard life lessons in this game. Ready. All right. So here's what we're gonna do.
As of the making of this video, you can't name your characters anything that you want, which is kind of a bummer. I made such a big deal out of that. I'm sure that's on the way, but we didn't have it. You also can't strategically place your characters anywhere that you want, like you might in Worms. If you have some kind of a master plan and you want to hunker down in a cave that you make yourself and you want to build girders around it, which they have girders, you can't do that, which is kind of a bummer because previously you would have been able to, you take turns dropping your character here and there, and as you drop one character, another player might get wise to what you're doing and try to interfere by putting one of his characters there to mess things up, and it was a good time. I think that needs to be allowed. The destruction to the map, especially related to canisters blowing up or using the nuke, which is cool. There are like targeted drone strikes and nuke drops where you hit a button and a plane whips past your head. And it's very cool. It works very well. It'll drop the bomb and you have to take into account the wind. It'll kind of drift. You won't always hit your mark, but when the nuke hits the ground, it is pure destruction. It is very cool, the damage that they allow and how it deforms and mangles the terrain. It is a welcome sight, and in most cases, if you're in the blast radius of that nuke, it's an instant death, which sounds about right. Most of the time, if you throw anything really bouncy, it bounces so much and so far that it's just bound to land in the water, and it's good for nothing. And that's true for, you know, if you blow a character off the side of a structure, he'll fall, and you would hope that he'd just kind of hit the ground and scoot and be done, but he often keeps going. A couple seconds have passed, but like he's still kind of slowly drifting, and I think it needs to be more precise than that. The mangling of the terrain is very cool. It's awesome that you can destroy it at all. I like it. And if it's a take it or leave it situation, I will take it every day. It's very cool. But I do wish that it was more of a bite out of the apple. I do wish that it was more like just a clean ripping out of a sphere when a bomb goes off. As it does right now, it kind of rips up and mangles the terrain, which might be more realistic, but it's always this kind of warped surface. And I think that the map would be a lot more fun if after several minutes of bombs and missiles going off, the result was this jagged just spheres cut out of spheres cut out of spheres, to where you do it enough and a character is going to find himself at the bottom of a pit that's too steep to get out of, and there's value in that, you know, for everyone else around him. The characters are pretty uninspired. We have several things. We have a hot dog, we have a chicken, there's a couple other things. I'm showing it here.
There are too many hot dogs on this playing board.
It's one of those things. I wonder if anybody's ever said those words in that order before.
But it's not exactly awe-inspiring. It doesn't call to some sense of character development. In Worms, you had like the angry Scotsman, and I'm not saying that this has to do that. This is not Worms. This is Table Troopers. But if you're gonna have characters that talk, and I feel like they need to add more personality to it.
Success.
Yeah.
I'm ready. My turn.
I feel like there needs to be varying levels of emotion that you can lean on and kind of play with. And that's going to have an effect on what lineup of characters a player picks. Now, I'm told that, you know, there's an update that came out like today, I think, and I don't have time to visit it and do this all over again. But they did provide some updates to the voice work. I don't know what that's like yet, but it's clear that whether it's great or not, it is on their mind, and it's something that they're trying to improve. Another thing that I noticed with this game that is only a request. It's not as if something was done wrong here, but when it's your turn to move or fire or do anything in your turn, it would be nice if instead of being limited to the sphere, it would be really cool if you could hit a button and enter the frame, like first person view, so that instead of pulling back with your finger to fire, you could just pick up a shotgun and shoot. It would be really cool to have access to that point of view only when you're firing your weapon. I feel like if you're going to do a game like this in VR, you got to make the most of VR, and that's just a huge thing that should be happening. And I already touched on this thing where the Worms Armageddon has like a ninja rope and flying sheep, heat-seeking missiles, things that you can control real time. This has none of that. The most that they have that kind of resembles that is the plane that flies overhead and drops a bomb. Outside of dictating the direction in which the plane flies, you have no control over it. I would love the ability to traverse freely across a map. And lastly, I would love it if these guys would give us the ability to create our own maps. Like, if it's great now, it'll last years if we can build our own levels. People are going to appreciate that, and they're going to use it. You need to look no further than Marathon's Anvil, Worms Armageddon, Little Big Planet. You know, you give us that kind of stuff and people use it, and this is the perfect setting to do something like that. Now, as per all these requests that I'm making, I am told by the developers this is like phase 1 of the game, that they have this laundry list of things that they want to do, and most of it's going to kick off after they see videos like this to get a sense for where people are, what they want, what do they think of it right now, and what should they prioritize when they launch this like 2.0 down the line. And so all this stuff I'm not saying it because I think it's BS that it's not here. Why isn't it here? What about me? Me. No, I know that this is like, I'm happy to have this game to begin with, and I'm only saying this because I know they're working on updates and they want to make this game big and beautiful, and that's what I would love to see, and I think I'm probably not alone. And I hope you guys will get this game. You'll find it down below, 10% off. I highly recommend it. I'm going to be playing this with some of my members shortly. After this launches, I'm going to make a community post and arrange it, but I'm looking forward to it. I really like this game. They just need to find their footing and make sure that the characters especially are not cookie cutter, that they, as if Worms weren't cookie cutter, but their personalities were something else completely. They need to kind of find their own and make characters that are bombastic and crass, even, that don't just die and fade into that good night, that put up a fight and have something to say when they go. We need to have this a little more animated. We need to bring a little more irreverent, kooky strangeness to this thing. Set it apart from some of the design choices that lend it more toward the camp of cookie cutter VR games, if that makes sense. The concept is not, but the characters and some of the dialogue, it is. And I would just love for this to be freaking awesome. And it can be done. I hope you guys will get it. Supports my channel, saves you money. Thank you to these developers for sending this game to me. I really appreciate it. I'm a fan. And again, if you guys want to play this game with me, or if you want early access to future upcoming videos, or you want to take part in Marbles, whatever the hell that is, I hope you'll consider joining us on Members. It's a lot of fun. And if not, it's fine. Please subscribe, like this video, hit that notification bell. It does my channel a world of good, and I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I also have a website down below where you'll find a ton of games and headsets, all of which have 10% off. It's a great way, again, of supporting my channel and saving cash. You guys are awesome. Go play this game. Godspeed.